Okay, so you should hear me better here. Hey everyone, I'm a little bit out of breath, just had to run down, the doorbell rang. But I just thought I'll pop in, haven't been in front of the camera for a little while. I just want to catch up a little, and I've got a few art supplies that I actually bought and they've just been sitting, so I wanted to share those. So I just finished a whole month of daily videos. I filmed them before summer holidays started, so I was pretty busy filming them ahead of time, and then I just had to edit them. So some of the videos would come out a little bit like a couple of days later. It just was so much work that by the end of it, I think I couldn't imagine editing another video. I was just like up here with it. So that was good fun though, because I really wanted to give myself this one more push on YouTube as a nice farewell. So I'm not planning to completely go away from YouTube, but there will be a reformation of my channel. I am going to be filming less content here, and I'm going to be focusing more on Patreon. So I think I will be kind of sharing or giving you ideas of what kind of content is up on Patreon, because I just want to focus on my brand and I want to focus on who I am as an artist. I feel that sometimes social media platforms start to erase your personality, and what I mean by that is we kind of want to become people pleasers over years. I mean, how long have I been doing this now? I started when my son was just over a year old, when we moved to this house. It wasn't enough for me just to be, you know, changing nappies and stay at home, and during his nap times I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to do art, and I wanted to kind of reach out to other moms who were in the same situation, or people in general, and kind of build this community of us coming together, talking about art supplies. I would go and research certain, I think it started most with craft supplies after I watched some scrapbookers. I was really kind of enjoying that. I think it was almost like an escape into kind of fantasy world where you're so tired, you're underslept, you're exhausted, but yet you want to do something cute and pretty, and all these ephemeras and stickers and whatnot, and the sprays with the colors, it all kind of looks so pretty and cute that I thought, oh, let me dive into that world. And so I started watching a lot of scrapbookers, crafters, and I was, you know, fascinated by all these oxides and whatnot by Tim Holtz, you know, the products, and it was amazing to me. Then I quickly realized, after buying and paying a hell lot of money for all these kits that you would get from America, they were not available in UK. I then quickly realized it's really kind of cost ineffective. It's also very wasteful, because if you want to like scrapbook a photo, for example, at that time Mason was very little, so I thought I'll create a scrapbooking album, and per each photo you would use like a square, I forgot the dimensions, but you know, the typical kind of square paper. Then you would, it was terrible paper because you couldn't do any watercolors or any sort of media, so it would buckle, but you could do like little sprays and some inks, like Tim Holtz type of things for textures and stuff. So very quickly, after I collected some of those papers, epoxy stickers and regular stickers and ephemera and those kind of thick cardboard type of stickers, forgot the name for them, I then realized, goodness, it's super wasteful, like super wasteful. And I started getting almost annoyed, I want to say, at the people who are promoting this type of art. Now, if you think about it, scrapbooking has originated from scraps. So you'd go traveling, you'd collect little, I don't know, tickets if you go to a show, or other kind of memorabilia that you would then use in a like a notebook or a sketchbook. You could maybe do some sketches, add some color with pens or maybe some paints, and stick those little memorabilia around, and that would be scrapbooking, right? But then someone thought, oh, let me make a business out of it. And fair enough, I have nothing against it, of kind of trying to think of an idea that will generate some income. However, as a whole, if I look at this type of craft, then I just realize it's not me. I don't want to entertain that idea, and I don't want to support that idea. So then I started going back to my roots, which was originally I loved art. I used to paint with watercolors, but kind of very beginner-like. I did just a regular art class in college, and I didn't study it professionally, but I always was drawn to colors. And so this is how I then started going and investing into different watercolors, expanding my knowledge about art supplies. And it was great for my channel because, of course, the best videos that do on YouTube still to this day are haul videos and swatch videos. So as soon as you then kind of have collected a mountain of these art supplies and you think, I want to be more than just a swatcher, or I want to be more than just a buyer. I want to be an artist, and I want to kind of improve my skills, and I want to learn, and I want to progress, and I want to take all of my viewers and subscribers onto that journey. So as soon as that happens, it's then YouTube doesn't like it because it's not selling. So what's not selling? You're not promoting these products. You're not promoting people to be, oh, there's a new watercolor, let me go and buy it, regardless if it's good or bad. If you do a review that's sort of, oh, there's a new watercolor and it's, look at these guys, it does this and there is this, which there is such a huge amount of these YouTubers that kind of all they do is just generating sales. So if you're that type of YouTuber, you will do very well, because although there is no substance to your content, you are not talking about yourself. You're just in effect a Muppet that is doing what is recommended. So what YouTube does is then kind of push those videos a lot more around to get more views and to get more clicks and to get more kind of attention. But as soon as you want to talk about yourself as an artist, it doesn't always work well on YouTube. Actually, there aren't that many channels that do well as artists. So they are who they are, and they promote themselves as artists. They share their kind of journey and all of that. So there are artists like that, but just not as many. Usually it's about selling. If you look at any channel that will promote some sort of sales, they're usually the ones that do the best. So those artists who share their own art skills and their artistic being, then you will see they're growing, but they're growing so slow. In my view, those channels deserve so many more viewers and subscribers because they are authentic. And you look at their style, they're not copying anyone. They are identities, they are characters. They're staying true to themselves. And those type of YouTubers I applaud. Now there's the other kind of YouTubers who basically don't have much of a talent. They don't have much of a skill, but they did take a bunch of random classes and they now call themselves artists, like self-proclaimed artists. They didn't have any exhibitions, they didn't have any true evaluation of their art. So basically then we have a whole bunch of these type of people who are polluting and oversaturating YouTube, and therefore then it becomes this kind of a mixed match of really talented people who are growing but really slowly. Then you have this whole bunch of kind of trash bin type of artists, and then you have the others which are into hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers, which tend to be very few of those will be truly talented, fantastic creators, but most of them will be basically about somehow grabbing their attention and pulling in the viewer with mostly with sales. There will be advertising, there will be investors and whatnot. So we have all of that mixed match here on YouTube, and I think the problem here is that there is no specific, I don't know, test that you have to go through. You can become a YouTuber. There is a beauty in that, but there is also a problem in that. And I heard a recent rumor, literally yesterday, I read that apparently Elon Musk will be buying YouTube. And if that is true, I am actually really hopeful for YouTube, but because the YouTube management needs to be completely wiped out and start again. I think it needs a person who has great insight, who has an understanding in business, because I had problems with Etsy, and similarly I find YouTube is also going downhill. There's a lot of people who actually have left YouTube, but that's mostly to do with sort of the Russia-Ukraine type of thing. I'm not going to go political now, but the other thing I have a problem with is the cancelling or muting of your voice and opinions. That's something I don't entertain. I think that people have the right to express themselves, but I feel with years you have to be so careful with what you say. Politically, religiously, all those subjects are a complete taboo, and you stay off them, of course. I mean, similarly in real life, right? When you meet new people, are you going to start talking about politics and religion? You know that those subjects that you just do not talk about. You only talk about those things with your close friends, and even then you might clash in opinions, but at least you love each other and you kind of accept each other's different opinions and things, right? So those subjects are taboos, but then it becomes a much wider problem where other opinions you just can't. And this is where I'm coming back to when I said YouTube kind of erases your personality. You start kind of worrying about saying things that will offend some people, or that you will have haters come after you, even though your opinion is perfectly fine. But we live in a world now where the abnormal is now normal and the normal is now the abnormal. So things have completely gone upside down, and if you're not someone who is supporting all that idiocy, then you will be kind of, attacked. Is that something that YouTube should allow, let alone kind of force you to walk within those very narrow-minded passages and become just a sheep in a big herd? So loads of questions to ask yourself, but like I said, I'm not really happy with how things have been handled on YouTube, etc. So that said, I feel like we're going to create a lovely community, start fresh on Patreon. It feels more like a kind of a private setting, and people generally that will subscribe and go there, those people support you as an artist and they want your creative input, whatever it is. Here on YouTube, you kind of have to either do certain type of videos to get likes and views and all of that, and then you'll have a small group of people supporting you no matter what, which I'm super grateful for. But I would like to kind of have that content kind of more private, if that makes sense, for those of us who are on the same wavelength. And I want to be able to open up about certain things and talk about certain things, and I'm so glad I didn't open up about a lot of things that I wanted to talk about here on YouTube. That I will leave for kind of a different type of audience. I have now become a Patreon myself for the first time, of an artist who I absolutely adore on YouTube, just to see what kind of content is expected on Patreon, what kind of, tiers I can create, and just to get an inspiration. And I have to say, for the first time when I clicked on that video on Patreon, it was like a breath of fresh air. I felt that there was this kind of depolluted, fresh air community where people just love the creator, and we are all happy to see, whether they're painting, whether they're crocheting, who cares? They are who they are. They will say some things that will make us smile, that will make us laugh. You'll feel great after the video because there is no BS. It's just real. It's kind of, you connect more with the artist than on YouTube because it's all very polished on YouTube. So that's the beauty about Patreon, and I'm so looking forward to it. And the reason I'm coming in here today is just kind of to say that probably next video will be somewhere in September, where I will start preparing some content on Patreon, and then I will share the launch of it. So until then, there won't be any videos in August. I'll take a break. I will recharge my batteries. Also, what I find quite ironic is that at the peak of my kind of artistic career, where I started working with big brands, creating commissions, my artwork went into packaging, and it was fantastic. But at the same time, my YouTube just completely plummeted down. And the other thing that YouTube does is they kind of pick some channels that they want to have less views for whatever reason it is, and they then put you in a box with the other channels that will basically be hidden away from being watched. And I had it so many times. There was one occasion where someone messaged me saying, by the way, what happened to your favorites videos? I can't find them anymore on your channel. Did you take them off? And I'm like, I didn't. So I went in, and the playlist, the whole playlist, I kid you not, was basically clicked as, I think, private or something. So it wasn't seen. So it was unclicked. I didn't do that. So how on earth did that happen? And why is it that it's happening to the playlist that was the most viewed? It was like so loved by everyone. In the end, I stopped doing it. But why? Like, how do these things happen? So YouTube somehow has this power to, you know, do things to your content, which again, I'm not entertaining that idea. I think I have mentioned everything I wanted to say. Oh yeah, so I had actually a few ideas for August, just to have them like once a week videos and pre-film them, but I got so exhausted from that World Watercolour July month that I just thought, I can't do this. Like, I'm just so sick of editing these videos. There was one video that for some reason took me so long to edit. It was, I think, originally about 40-50 minute video. It took me, I kid you not, over 4 hours of editing, if not longer. And I was thinking, why? Like, why? But I was perfecting the sounds, I was perfecting the music, the cutting. There was a lot of kind of content that I just had to chop, and it was like seconds of it. This is how precise I went. It'd be a, you know, part of a second, less than a second. Maybe there's like a little noise, or maybe there's something like a little gap there, which I thought I took too long to kind of consider something. And all of that took me so long to edit. And after all of that, when I saw how few the views were in the first hour of launching the video, I was like in shock. And that was, I think that was the last straw on the camel's back. I literally thought I had it. I absolutely had it. And the problem here is not that people are not watching it. People are prevented from watching it. So the video is just not being circulated. And it's very, very interesting because, is it because I'm promoting my own products versus big brands? Or is it something deeper than that? Is it something I said earlier in my videos somewhere that was perhaps political? Or what is it that YouTube decides to penalize you for? So I have no interest in finding out, because I have my own statement to YouTube, is that YouTube, dear YouTube, I have spent over 7 years creating free content, spending my money, my own money, on upgrading my sound, on upgrading my computers and things like that. And all I have seen is that you would decrease and decrease the payments, and you would just take and take more and give less and less. So Therefore, I don't think you're worthy of having my free content. Like I said, there will be content, just not as polished, not as much, and it will be kind of just giving a better idea of what I'm doing on Patreon, so that for those of you who truly love my style and support myself, my brand, then you are very, very welcome to find out more about me as an artist, because I really feel like I don't want to be sharing my art and like the processes here on YouTube anymore. I used to love this idea. Why is it not focusing? I used to love this idea and I used to get a joy, but when I saw that my videos are not being circulated as well as they were or should be, then bye-bye YouTube. So on that note, I will just show you a couple of things. As I mentioned, I was planning a few videos and then in the end I thought, no, I'm just not gonna go for it. I'm just gonna give myself a break. But what I was planning, one of the videos was, I was gonna make a video with my son about creating a little craft project, which I thought would have been fun for those of you with kids at home. However, I haven't had time for it. We've been out and about and doing loads of things. So I think we will probably leave this either for another occasion or, I haven't decided what to do with it. But I'll show you what I got for that project. So this is from Hobbycraft, and these are the pom-poms that I got. So the yellow, with the pink, maybe I'll show them all in one go. There we go. So this is a nice color arrangement here. And the idea that I had came from the tag. Let me just show you. So this is the tag that I kind of really loved. And I thought we'll create something similar and have like a nice kids project. But didn't happen. I also got some, what are they called? Fabric pieces in this beautiful lemon design, and I think it's so beautiful. I'm so into lemons at the moment. It's a great trend for like your garden and decor kind of designs. So I will definitely use this for something. Not sure what yet. But that was a little project I had in mind. As I was in Hobbycraft, I also got a couple of these really cheap kind of art supplies, pencil cases. So there are 3 of them. And they are great for traveling kits, which I will be doing, but I will be sharing on Patreon. Thank you very much. I will briefly mention it here on YouTube when I'm ready. And there's also this little kind of like a basket box type of thing. It's wooden and it's obviously white. So that's good for keeping some art supplies in here. I think I'm planning to keep maybe acrylic inks in here because it's quite sort of neat to have them on the desk. At the moment I have a 3-tier kind of cupcake, super heavy plate, but I can't then sort of move it around my desk. So this is for kind of organizing art supplies, or maybe like paints or something. So here was another trip we did to Hobbycraft, and I got some paints. Mason also picked 3 because they had a deal. I think they had a £2. Yeah, it was 50% off. So from £4 it went down to 2, and I got myself 3 colors and for Mason. So these going to be accents for some canvas paintings, which again I'm planning to share on Patreon. It's going to be one of those videos where I'm painting but on a canvas. If you remember, I had some process videos where I had like an easel in the background and then you could see me paint a painting. So that will be with acrylics and canvas this time. So I have got 371, which is fluorescent pink, fluorescent yellow, 372, and 353 is iridescent orange yellow, which is a really interesting color. It's like a peachy orange. So Mason got a few other colors, and these are by Pebeo Studio Acrylic. So these are kind of nice and affordable paints, but like I said, I'm only planning to use them either as underpainting, which I quite like, or as accents. So that's that. As I was in Hobbycraft, I also got some canvases. So they had a deal going, which also was, I think, 3 for 2. And so these canvases, they're not too thick, as you can see here, and they're nicely stretched. These are 100% unbleached cotton, acid-free, pre-primed, ready for use, ideal for oil and acrylic paints. And the size is 59.4 by 42 centimeters. And it's a good size. I really want a couple of huge ones for the living room, but yeah, I need to figure out how I could fit them into my car. So that's the project for September. And then I have also got something yesterday. I popped into the Tiger shop and they had this pencil holder, which is gorgeous because it's just so gorgeous. In fact, I think I should have gotten 2, but it's so cool. So yeah, it will be looking lovely with my pencils. And finally, this was a while ago now, but I got a few. Oh, right, okay. So actually, I've been to the Koster shop in Hampstead, and this was 2 occasions. So this one was all the way back, I think, when my parents were here. I went to pick something in there, and I've been busy with other stuff, so I didn't paint. So here are a number of colors I got, which is a new Uniposca. This is sky blue. And then we have oil sticks by Sennelier. So notice how they have a different label. I wonder whether the ones that I used to buy on Jackson's, whether they are different or just the label has been updated. Not sure, but there are loads of lovely colors, and this particular one is light gray. And then we have light quinacridone magenta. And then we have Chinese orange. And finally, primary red. Beautiful colors. And then last time I went to Koster, which wasn't too long ago, I got a few more colors. So I also got the fluorescent pink, light Paraline Bordeaux, just this one, and primary yellow. So all these beautiful colors look gorgeous together. Not necessarily in a palette, like not a color palette, but they just look beautiful, the colors. And I'm planning to use them on those canvases together with the acrylic paints. Let's see how it works, because I like to really push hard on these paints. And these canvases, because they're stretched, you can see it has a give. So I don't want to, like, you know, stretch it out too much. If I push too hard, I might want to use maybe some like spatulas and things. Maybe I'll figure it out. So, and then I've got one yellow Tombow, which is 025. I figured I don't have a single yellow, and I wanted to add a yellow because when I do kind of layering, it would be nice to add a bit more yellow underneath. Finally, I also got these cute, they're called Legami Keep in Mind adhesive page markers. I gave 2 to Mason and then kept these 2, the avocado and the pineapple. They're super cute. So you just basically, you know, pull out each of those markers, page markers, and just, you know, when you go through like an art book or whatever book and you want to kind of refer to it, or sketchbook when I want to show certain pages, this kind of is a cuter way to do it. So that is it. No swatching, but I may do that for Patreon. So I hope you're doing really well, and I hope you're having a great summer. It's pretty much middle of August now, so it's getting to the end now. We had fantastic few weeks of summer where I just sat out in my bikini outside on the patio and just had a nice bit of coffee or computer and editing. That's what I was doing. And coffee on the side. But yeah, still it was lovely to sit outside and just get that bit of sun or in the shade and just enjoy the heat while Mason was on his hoverboard. So that is it for me today. I hope you get me. I hope you get where I'm coming from. And I hope to see you on Patreon when that is ready. I will share it here. And also check out my Instagram. I will be probably sharing it there as well. So until then, I will see you, I guess, in September. Thank you for watching.